Hey everybody, we are live today, tonight. It's a PCP movie night. That's right. We are here with the excitable PCP crew. And we're going to be reviewing live, having a live movie discussion along with you in the comments. And I got to give a big, mad shout out to Lee D, going above and beyond again. He says, going to have to watch this on the replay as usual. However, beer's on me. You got it, my man. Here's to Lee.
Thanks, Lee.
To Lee.
Dude.
Tonight we are going to be talking about the winner of the most recent PCP Army movie review poll winner, Dylan's Choice Edition. Dylan curated the list, 5 movies, and the winner was Killer Klowns in Outer Space. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. With us, of course, good old Jab. What's up, Jelani?
What's up? Doing good. Chilling.
Next to him, we have Jay Strick in the house.
They drew first blood, not me. Sorry, wrong movie.
That's fine. Every week, do that every week. Then, of course, we got the man himself, Dylan from Dylan's Comics. This was his poll, his picks. I bet he's very happy about the movie tonight.
Oh yeah, man. I never thought it would win, man. I'm just glad that it blew everything out too.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have had a string of landslide victories, and that's not typical.
Yeah.
And it's really weird. It's like everybody just wants to see these one things.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I wish Near Dark was a little higher up there, though.
Near Dark had like me and 2 other people vote for it.
I know, man.
Yeah.
But I'm glad Killer Klowns won.
We're doing Near Dark in October. Don't worry about it. Then, of course, we got Brooks, the Mario Shroom Master Man Music Machine, Micro Dude. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
Micro Dude. What's
Micro Dude?
Chilling.
I said something machine, right? Mario Machine, and so it made me think of Micro Machines, and so it said Micro.
Threw a bunch of M words together.
Another M, yeah. I love to alliterate. What can I say? Arminio's in the house. What's up, my man? And comic book theory.
Hey,
So
Arminio.
let's get into it. Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Wow. Made by 3 brothers, Charles, Edward, and Stephen Chiodo, right? I mean, people say Chiodo or Chiodo, but it's Kyoto, right? It's Kyoto. Yeah, it's a hard CH. It's like...
Okay. I've heard people say the Chiodo brothers or something.
Yeah.
I
think it's Kyoto, but maybe it's Chiodo.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. They're the ones that made it.
I think you're right. I think it's Kyoto.
Yeah, music by John Massari with the theme song by the Dickies, which was a punk band. We'll talk about that theme song soon. So overall, we're going to go through our initial reactions. Now, spoilers if you haven't seen Killer Klowns from Outer Space. I mean, the movie came out in 1988, right? So, I mean, spoilers, right? But before we watch this film, I was like, I remember the last time I watched it and not really thinking it was that good, right? And I told Strickland even, I was like kind of nervous about watching this one. Because I remember it just dumb and blah, blah, blah. Man, I watched it last night. I had so much fun watching this movie. It really was a laugh riot. It is a horror comedy. It's about these space aliens that come to invade Earth, this small town, and they're turning all the people into food via these cotton candy pods, right? All kinds of craziness. The animatronic faces, the makeup. So the Chiodo brothers are known for being makeup artists. They did the makeup and the special effects in Critters. Ernest Scared Stupid, which they actually recycled some of the heads for, according to Cinemassacre. So if that's wrong, blame him, not me. But I love this film. I think it's so much fun. It never takes itself seriously. It is ridiculous, and it was so much fun. And some of the bits are incredibly clever and really funny. One of my favorites being the dog balloon, like the animal balloon that it's just so much weird, quirky, random stuff. But it still does legitimately have, I think, some creepy and horrifying moments. But it never really goes full-on horror. It's mostly a kind of quirky comedy. It's got great production design, great sets. It's got some characters really annoy the hell out of me. And we'll get to that. But overall, I love this film. I think it was a cult classic from the beginning because I watched a review earlier, and he said, with a name like Killer Klowns from Outer Space, how can you not automatically be a cult film? You know what I'm saying? Speaking of cults, Jelani, what do you think about Killer Klowns from Outer Space?
I didn't like it that much, but there are a lot of positives in it because this film to me scared the crap out of me when I was young. Like, I watched this it came out in 87. It was around that time, and I was in like first grade or second grade or something, and my cousins I went to go see it, and they told me about it, and then they took me to see it, and I didn't finish the film. Like, it was like Cinema 8. I remember I don't remember what theater it was. I don't know what happened, but man, I freaked out. Like, when I first saw this movie, it was the scene where they go into the corridor and they go into the room where the cotton candy cocoons are, and they rip that face off. I was out. I was done.
That's funny.
I was like, screw this. I will never watch this film again. It would come on TV and like random places like HBO and stuff, and I'd never watch it. Like, the second I saw it, I'd be like, something else. So I freaked out. And on the rewatch where I actually sat down and watched it, yes, it is a goofy film. It doesn't scare me now. Although there are some clever kills, there's really good makeup. I like the animatronics. I like how they made this film pop. How the clowns looked like aliens from outer space. Some of their stuff was kind of weird. The shadow puppet thing is crazy, but
that's one of the most popular bits in the whole movie. You know,
I know, and it freaks me out because I didn't really like it that much. But there are other kills in this movie that are great, and I will say this before I give my time up, but Mooney, the cop, I forgot what he was, but Mooney the freaking cop.
John Vernon.
He annoyed the
John
crap.
Vernon,
Yeah,
he was the dean in Animal House.
That's right. That's right. But to me, he's the most annoying, and yet my favorite character in the movie.
He's the best character.
He's the most annoying character in this movie.
It's funny you say that because I've always like hated him. I'm like,
I hate that guy.
You're supposed
but then
to.
this time I like opened my mind up and I'm like, he might be actually the best. I was like,
I'll tell you this.
Funny.
I'll tell you all this.
He thinks it's a prank.
It is the best performance in the movie.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Yes.
And he nails it. He's supposed to be the dickish authority figure in the 80s. They're in every single one of them, from Ferris Bueller to Back to the Future. Yeah. Like even the big ones and the small ones, they all have that authority figure that you're just supposed to be like, you know? Yeah. And he plays it so well.
We had a theme of asshole cops in these movies, kind of.
Yeah.
I almost for a moment
I thought the dragon next with he's not going to Hawaii cop.
I thought that this was the origin story of the dude from Rambo before he falls out of the helicopter.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically First Blood.
Yeah.
Same thing.
It is Brian. Speaking of First Blood, we're drawing First Blood on this film. Thank you so much, Jelani. But this was Dylan's pick. This is one of Dylan's favorite movies. So I want to know, Dylan, in a nutshell, what you think about this movie?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I definitely see the cheesiness and quirkiness in it, but I think that they knew what they were making. I don't think they ever took it 100% serious, that this was just, dude, straight up fun.
If they took this movie seriously, this movie sucks.
Right. But, yeah, I mean, it's always interesting to see, like, makeup artists or designers, like, go and have a go at making their own film. Because they understand, the makeup department, obviously, and practical effects, which is always one of my favorites. And yeah, man, it's definitely nostalgic for me, for sure. Like, there's nothing that can beat that. Because, like I was telling you, I mean, my mom rented it for me when I was like 3 years old, like, and caught me watching it in the pitch dark, like I was the poltergeist kid. Every time I mess up saying that word. But
kid. She thought it was a PG-3 movie, not a PG-13 movie, right?
Yeah, she couldn't believe I was watching it. But hey, man, she took me to see her. Like, they tried to sneak and see H2O without me when I was a kid, and I was supposed to go to preschool or kindergarten or whatever, and I'm like, you ain't going to see this without me. And I went. I skipped school to go see H2O with them, but so I've been at like.
That movie came out in August, Dylan. H2O came out in August.
You were in preschool when H2O came out? Jeez,
I don't know.
Now.
Maybe.
97.
1988?
90.
98.
Wait,
no,
98.
H2O.
98.
It was 98. No,
Yeah,
it was 98.
high school.
It was 98?
No, then it'd be kindergarten.
Dylan's younger than us, Brooks. I don't know if you realize
I've
that.
been 4.
I don't know how
I've
old
been like
anybody
4
is.
years old.
Well, me, you,
I've
and
been, like,
Jelani are
4
around the
years
same
old.
age. Strickland and Dylan's a little bit younger than us. Just a little bit, though. But we're all adults, allegedly.
No.
Yeah.
Now, my parents used to do that too, Dylan. They would always take me to horror films. And
Yeah.
And,
Especially at the drive-in.
I always had uncles or cousins that would take me anywhere, and they're just like, "Come with me," and they're like, "This is rated R." We're like, "I don't care, just come."
you know, and this is a PG-13 movie, which is crazy. You know, it could have easily been rated R, but it's not.
I kind of wish they would have went a little, like, as the years go on, I wish they might have went a little darker, but I still love it for what it is, you know what I mean?
I think they were trying to go after that Gremlins type thing, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah, I definitely feel like they were trying to do Gremlins, but a bit more edgy, you know? Because Gremlins doesn't really have blood and gore. And this one's got, I mean, it's got it to an extent, but there's not too much of it. And there's only like one F-bomb in it, and it's excellently delivered by Mooney. Yeah.
Officer Mooney.
Speaking of Mooney, this guy moons everybody that he knows. Jay Strick, what you think about this movie? This was your first time watching it as an adult, right?
Yeah. I remember watching it as a kid, but I don't really remember much about it, except the dude getting his head knocked off. But
I didn't get that far, bro. I didn't get that far.
It's a good.
What are you gonna do? Knock my block off?
This is like the goofiest movie I've watched in a while. Like, it really is just goofy, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. So, I appreciate that about it. I feel like for me, like, I think I liked it, and I thought it was really funny. I feel like they had something here with like the clowns, though. Clowns creep me out. So I don't know if I would have, like, the most like, to me, there's only one creepy scene in the whole thing, and it's when Moody gets killed and he's there as like a puppet. That's terrifying.
That's terrifying.
I was like, bro, I am like scared right now, and that
it's
was
okay,
like,
Dave.
Right?
We just want to kill you.
We just want to kill you.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's the only time the clowns actually communicate, too, really.
Yeah.
There's that moment, too, because Vernon, like we said, the best performance in this film is him. And he does this moment in there where he's talking and he like does this like really quick smile and look over like, and then back. Like it's really chilling. It's really, I don't know how it's doing it.
Right.
It's just got his hand in his back. Just
I know.
But they're making shadow puppets. Yeah, they're making shadow puppets and eat people. So
yeah, who cares? You're not into this movie for
they have pies
for explanations.
Right.
They got balloons. They got
balloons that
dogs.
sometimes kill you. Or sometimes just keep you in a bubble for no reason. What did they write that girl? What was it?
All the balloons are female leads from different movies.
Yeah.
Continue on, Sterling.
I mean,
Go ahead,
they
sorry.
just ruin everything.
I think one of the goofiest scenes to me is like with that scene where it's like a montage of them all walking into town, and it's like they're going slow as hell. I'm like, everyone can just outrun these guys. They're clowns in like these big ass shoes. No one's gonna catch them.
Nobody even really responds to him. Like when that one shows up at that woman's house, she's like, "Oh, you brought me flowers or whatever." I'm like, "You idiot!
Bruh,
That's a monster clown."
Yeah, if a monster clown knocks on my door, you're getting knocked out. So,
what
I thought it was funny.
Knock his block off?
Yeah, I thought it was a funny movie, man.
Speaking of funny, that Brooks guy is kind of funny. Brooks, why don't you educate and illuminate and elevate yourself onto the platform and talk about what you thought about this movie? Was this your first time?
Yes, this was my first time.
What'd you think?
And I thought it's a very stupid movie.
Yeah.
But in a fun way.
Right.
And I like it. I did enjoy it. I didn't think it was very scary aside from, the creepy ventriloquist puppet cop scene.
Right.
But I thought the clowns really, like when they showed up like close-up shots of the clowns' faces, they looked really scary. But I think the concept was just too goofy to actually be really scary. Unless you're like a kid. Like if I'd have seen this when I was a kid, I'd have probably thought it was really scary. But like watching it as an adult, I'm just like, well, it's just kind of this kind of goofy spoof horror movie type thing. But I thought it was pretty fun overall.
Yeah, it's a very fun film, and it's not scary, really. I think it's got some creepy parts. That puppet scene is really, really good. And then the scene with the little girl is kind of creepy, too.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah,
so that one's going to get that kid? No!
Like,
and if you notice, the mom says, like, you got to finish your dinner before you go out there. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this was the 80s when you would just let your kid walk outside of a McDonald's. Yeah. But she also doesn't respond to that dude. I watched I watched this video. I wish I could remember what channel it was. It was a pretty funny review. And the guy was like, does she think that this is some McDonald's mascot? Like, is it the Grimace? like, what's going on? But the movie's extremely low budget, as Sean pointed out. It's extremely low budget. It didn't really do well necessarily critically or financially, but it was an instantaneous cult classic for obvious reasons. The clowns are absolutely fantastic. The suits, the makeups, they move slow. They kind of walk around crazy. It seems this movie doesn't take itself seriously. And being PG-13, I think they were trying to lean into that Gremlins thing. They were trying to get more kids to actually be able to watch this film. And to us, it's not scary, but to a kid, hell yeah, it's scary. It's
nightmarish, man.
Yeah, man.
I had nightmares after this movie.
When I was a kid, I thought the Showbiz Pizza Band was freaking crazy scary. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, these guys were scary.
Well, you said they worked on Critters, so that definitely, I guarantee that's what they were leaning towards.
And that's another great sci-fi horror comedy, And that's what this is. I mean, it's from the moment, like, nobody does, I don't think you're the brightest bulb in the place if you go into this movie and don't immediately understand what it's going to be, right? The meteor lands, they go to find what it is, and it's a big top, By the way, they shouldn't have taken the dog. They shouldn't have taken the dog. But at least
that pissed me off.
You get that dumb redneck guy, like, hey, let's
all
go.
The characters in this movie are morons.
His face is the face.
Everybody's a moron in this movie.
Yeah, they are.
Of course they are.
They're walking into that ship like it's nothing. I'm like, man, I am gone. If I see a big tent in the middle of the woods and there's nobody walking towards it, we're out.
How about that dude who's all like, oh, this must be a cotton candy factory.
Like, they don't store cotton candy like that.
The movie's great. There's even this moment, too, where they fire the popcorn gun at her, which winds up becoming somehow the way they procreate or something. I don't know.
Like Jack in the Box clowns.
Yeah, those were super creepy.
They don't kill them. Where did they go?
Well, the movie ends. Remember, it kind of ends with the idea that they're still out there. And they have been toying around with doing a sequel for the last several years. And they're saying they actually want to do like a trilogy of sequels, and maybe even a TV show or something. But the sequel is supposed to be Return of the Killer Klowns from Outer Space in 3D. Which
please let that happen.
Yes,
I've been dying for one since I was a kid. I've been dying. I've always wondered. I'm like, ever since that ending, I'm like, so are we gonna get a sequel? I mean, God, because I feel like
they never did one.
I know, right? Because I feel like they don't need much, like to make it.
Yeah,
get Blumhouse behind it,
Yeah. Well, it was you would have like horror movies are already a really cheap thing to produce at times, and that's why they do so many of them because it's easy to produce a film of some kids in the woods getting got. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This one, there's a piece of me though that doesn't want it to happen because if they did it now, it would have CG. It would. I think it would be those gags.
Practical effects.
Yeah, those gags only work for me in practical effects. Like I'm forgiving of the shadow puppet thing because that was the only way to do it, and having that weird animated thing is kind of very nostalgic feeling in 80s films or whatever. Let's get to the clowns, though. Each clown has personality, a different look. Dylan, you're such a big fan. What's your favorite clown in the film, and why?
Oh man, that's hard.
That's why I went to you first.
Yeah, I'd probably say, like, look, it'd be hard, like, by look, it might be this one, Spiky, who's got, like, the spiky hair, and I think he's the one who does the dog, the balloon dog.
Yeah.
But, I think the creepiest might be Slim, and he's the one that's kind of got the tentacles on his head.
Yeah. Okay.
What the kill that he does? It's hard. 'Cause I love them all. They're so unique. Each one is different in its way. I'd say the coolest looking is probably Spiky. He's the one with the spiky hair and does the balloon dog.
That's cool. I like the balloon dog. It sounded like you said something else for a second. That balloon animal bit is hilarious. There's a lot of good bits. We'll talk about that next. Jelani, what's your favorite clown in the film?
My favorite clown would have to be the one that made Mooney a puppet.
Yeah.
He had the most chilling kills. I think he made them cotton candy, but like he looked like he tore one of them apart and then slammed them up against the top of the jail cell. Those two guys in jail. I think he had the most chilling kills. I just how easily he was just like, take me to jail, and Mooney puts the cuff on him and he pulls the cuffs off, and then he doesn't have that trick. He freaked me out the most just because of what he did to Mooney, and so I would go with him. What was his name?
Jumbo.
Yeah.
And
he blew up the best. He blew up the best when he got killed.
What about you, Jay Strick?
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it was harder to kind of tell who was who. It seems like there was like 2 or 3 of them that you kind of used more, and then I thought there was only 2 or 3 of them, and then that one scene where everyone just kind of comes out, there seems like there was like 20 of them.
There's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
There's like 4 or 5 main ones, though, that are like featured more, I think.
It seemed like the one Jelani was talking about had the most screen time, or at least that's the one I remember the most because of the jail scene, and then that was the one who knocked on the door with the chocolates, right?
That was the group. Yeah.
That was a different one.
That's like the big fat one, right?
That was the fat one.
He looked smaller, but he's a little fatter. Yeah.
I choose fat guy then because I thought that was pretty funny.
Speaking of fat guy, what about you, Brooks?
I like the big boy clown, the final boss clown.
They call him Clownzilla.
Nice.
Clownzilla.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Karen.
That made me kind of like raise my eyebrow, like at the end, like, where he kills the big clown and then the spaceship blows up. I was like, wait a minute. Why the hell would the spaceship blow up? Because they killed this dude.
Why would not exploding?
Kind of a weird
exploding.
Why would the ice cream truck explode just from being tossed like 20 feet?
Right. Oh, that ice cream. Those brothers.
I love how out of everything in the movie,
the ice cream truck.
Out of everything in the movie, Brooks is like, I just don't understand how the damn ship blows up at the end.
It just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. You're right.
Hey, man.
Nothing makes sense.
It really doesn't make sense because then, like, I just thought they were dead, and then the little car shows up, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Because a lot of those 80s horror movies, especially ones that are aimed more towards a younger audience, and let's not fool ourselves, this is aimed towards a younger audience, even though they got like 35-year-olds playing the teenagers, right? I guess they're supposed to be college kids, right, or something like that.
They all go out.
They all go to make that's not like we have a place here in Huntsville where everybody goes and they can park and look over the city but it's not like a place where like a bunch of kids go. You know what I'm saying? Like kids just go make out in front of their house or when I was growing up at the skating rink. That was where we went to go make out. But I mean, I have gone up to the mountain. That's where I lost my virginity, actually, up there in a Ford Festiva. Anyway, that's a different story for a different night. That happened last week, guys, in a 92 Ford Festiva. I'm very excited. My favorite is Shorty. Shorty's the really small one who does the knock your block off thing. That's probably my entire favorite like bit in the whole movie is the biker gang, and they're like in typical 80s movie fashion. They're just like talking shit and being goofy, and it's so silly and not really how it would go down. And it's also where we get one of our, maybe the only black character in the film.
Character.
Like
Melvin
black actor.
Johnson.
Was that?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's the guy from Dazed and Confused, man.
Yeah.
Is it?
No.
No.
But, no. But that's where he is. And anyway, that scene when they're just talking all that shit and he breaks his bike, and then it's so sad. You're like, he just broke his like bike. That's so sad. And then when he just like, it's like, it's seamless. The timing is so perfect. He's like, what are you going to do? Knock my block off? And immediately he just uppercuts him and the head lands in there. The woman screams and everybody just quickly gets on their bikes and just goes off.
No
love
more
that.
No more bikers. I thought they would come back at the end for some reason. I just did.
Like it's Dawn of the Dead, and the bikers come back and they're like trying to take over the city again. That's the sequel, right? The bikers show up and take over the mall. I'm mixing up movies there. Anyway, Dylan, what's one of your favorite bits, gags, whatever you want to call it, in this film?
One of my favorite. Might be. It's not really a gag, but I just like love seeing like when they're in the pharmacy, and he's just like, you could just tell he's already taken out like all the customers, and he's just like looking at stuff and throwing it, and that pharmacist is just like tweaking out, like twitching.
It just keeps coming back and like,
Yeah.
Oh my
It's
god!
like, dude,
every time I see that old
something.
man, I'm waiting for him to just be like, oh.
He did do something, Brooks. He called the cops, and it's Mooney. And Mooney's
after like
He's like,
20 minutes, going like, oh.
let me get my Jack Daniels to
He gets the
handle this.
moron
Yeah.
award for the most moronic character in this movie.
he was having like monologues. Yeah. Craziness.
Now, that's a good scene, man. And it also reminds me, and I know we still have Walgreens and CVS's, but like that corner drugstore that used to be like so generic, but everybody had the same one. For us, it was like a Big B for a while. And then, and then they got bought out by CVS, but now it's different now. It's not the same. But I just remember going to the drugstores as a kid, and that scene takes me back to that, when you would have more stuff like that. Jelani, what's your favorite bit in this movie?
It's got to be the pie. The security guard that gets
Oh
in
my
the amusement
God.
park. And like he's first of all, they all get out of a clown car and they're just one by one getting out of the car, and it was great. And then like he's like, "What are you guys doing? The amusement park is closed.
We're doing them pies, boys.
Them pies, boys." And then they cover him in pies and they melt him. And I was like, "Oh!"
And the best part is when Shorty shows up and puts that cherry on top of it.
Yeah.
Well,
And then when the guys show up and they're about to like eat it, and then he's like, "That ain't ice cream," and then you see the skeleton in there.
Who's gonna eat that off the ground anyway?
They got
Ice
hit with
cream
the pie.
man jerk off.
They got
Yeah,
hit with pies at the end, right? So are they dead?
yeah. See,
Huh.
Yeah,
I think
I
they're
didn't think
Or
dead.
they acid pies.
With his regular pies for the memes.
Or was it the ice cream guys? Because they were off camera during that scene, weren't they?
I think.
yeah.
I
Maybe
think so.
they were. Maybe
Yeah,
they
I
were.
think
They are my
Clown.
least favorite in this movie, by the way.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
are.
I was pissed off when it turned out they survived at the end.
Yeah, I wanted them
I
to
was like,
die.
what?
No,
Like,
no.
the truck
Hold off
was
on the
like,
ice cream
"Yay,
guy
those guys are
discussion.
dead."
Sorry. Okay.
Hold on, there's a
All right.
whole bit about that coming up. Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
Okay. never
Strickland,
mind.
what's your favorite bit in the film?
There's a lot of good bits. I guess oh my God, it's just out of nowhere too. It's like a random guy driving home in the invisible bike, right?
Yeah.
Like, what was that? I was just like, he like runs him off the road, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He runs off the road, watch the car explode and everything.
And he laughs. That creepy. I love their voices,
Yeah.
man. Oh,
I read something that was supposed to be like a longer scene, and the car was going to hang off a cliff, but during filming, the car actually fell off the cliff, so they couldn't use the bit. So I don't know.
it's like when we were talking about Rambo a couple weeks ago, and that I don't know if we mentioned it, but that police car crashes, and that literally happened. So they just were like, well, okay, it's in the
Yeah,
movie.
just rock with it. Yeah.
They die.
I mean, what else are you going to do? I mean, that's also something from Evil Dead when they actually wrecked the car, and so they had to put it into the movie. Now, it wasn't an on-camera thing. My favorite on-camera accident like that is Aragorn breaking his foot, kicking that helmet in Two Towers.
Yeah, Two Towers.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Lord of the Rings. Yeah,
He kicks the damn helmet and goes down to his knees and screams, and that's real because he broke his freaking foot kicking that damn thing.
Yep.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's the moment when they think that Pippin and Merry are dead.
Right.
And next time you watch it, pay attention. And
It's
Peter
real.
Jackson
I gotta
said
rewatch those
Peter Jackson
sometime,
said that take was the best one. It looked like he was just pissed, you know? Speaking of being pissed a lot, and breaking feet and hobbits, Brooks loves all of those. Breaking feet, hobbits, and being pissed. Only in a British sense, but he doesn't drink liquor. Anyway, Brooks.
What's up?
That's what you get for trespassing in a fucking Burma. Anyway. What's your favorite gag in this film?
You say something, mate.
I thought the balloon animal dog was my favorite part. I thought that was pretty clever, like how he just makes this little bloodhound out of a balloon and it's walking along and leading them. I thought that was probably like the most clever thing that they did with the clowns in this.
Yeah, that shit cracked me up. We really did.
It comes back later too. They just keep using the same balloon animal dog.
Yes,
the tracking dog.
They're almost, I know it. They're aliens, right? They're aliens. I love the moment when, towards the end of the film, I guess they're like, while they're writing the script.
This is how we got the idea from clowns.
Yeah, they're writing the script, and then on the last day, they're just like, shit, we didn't say anything about what the clowns are or anything like that. So maybe we should put this one scene in there where the dipshit guy who.
Which one?
His name is something.
Dave?
Is it?
You mean the main dipshit?
Yeah.
Mike.
The main
I don't even know their
dipshit.
names.
What's his name?
It was
I
Mike.
don't even know.
The
Dave
cop
was the cop.
or the boyfriend?
The boyfriend.
Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
Mike.
Mike
Yeah.
Tobacco.
Mike.
His last
Yeah,
name is
Mike
Tobacco.
Tobacco.
Yeah.
That's right.
That guy. And he's just like, what if this is where we get the ideas from clowns and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, so it does make sense. Or at least they tried a little bit. But whatever. I like that it's in there because it's silly. I hate that character. He's annoying to me. Not as annoying as the damn Terenzi brothers. Let's talk about them real quick. So obnoxious. A lot of these horror films in the 80s have this like forced comedic relief thrown in there. Their own Jar Jar Binks, if you will. This is already a funny movie. We don't need them.
No.
Do you know what I'm saying? I will say this though.
Scene out though.
The very beginning of the movie though, when they show up to the Lookout Mountain or whatever, that was funny to me. Where they're like, "We're here with all the what you want or something while you screw," and like I was watching.
It's surprising that nobody actually wanted ice cream.
Yeah, you're right.
Like
That'd be a perfect treat for
hey, I'd like some ice cream.
it's like the
I want
Kyoto
an
brothers
after
thing.
snack.
Like, did you swear off ice cream when you turned 18? Hell no. Are you
No.
kidding me? Like,
Ice
I would have,
cream.
in that situation, I would have gotten in trouble because I would have been like, baby, is that an ice cream truck? Do you think they got a Choco Taco?
Is that those Ninja Turtles pops?
Yeah, the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Do you think they got the Mickey Mouse chocolate?
Oh,
It's good
that's
stuff.
some Klondike bars, man. I'm a fan.
Jelani, tell me why you hate the Terenzi brothers so much.
Terenzi
And also,
brothers.
remember, Mike kept going, everybody's like annoyed by him, and Mike's like, those guys are my friends. Oh, those suckers, they're so funny.
Yeah.
It's like adventure with those guys.
Oh,
They're like, that
stupid
says
Mike.
something about you, Mike.
Yep. Because God, they're terrible, man. They made me almost hate this movie because, like, I really want them to die. Like,
know.
when that it's a rental. It's a rental car. So you don't leave the car. You need to leave that van. You're gonna die.
Yeah,
And they're
right.
like, it's a rental. I'm like, oh, die. Oh, hurry up and die.
Plus, they're
Like,
sleazeballs, you know?
Yeah.
You get the
Die with
idea that they were
rental.
like, hey, man, I know how we're going to start getting chicks. We're going to
Yeah.
be ice cream men.
Yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you do it.
Hey, they wind up getting some in the movie, though, don't they?
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to. Ew. So wait a minute, they got some, survived it, because because they've been, well, other than the girl that got caught in the bubble. I mean, yeah, she's terrible too. But the whole time, their clothes are, you find them again, their clothes are ripped off, and they got lipstick all over the face. I was like, did they have sex with those clowns?
Yeah. That's like when they do another movie, we need to see some clown-human hybrids, just like we need to see some gremlin-human hybrids if they do Gremlins 3.
That's not
alien resurrection shit there.
Pass.
Robbie, have you seen Shudder did like a Critters exclusive like show where they're like 10-minute episodes?
I heard it was pretty bad.
I don't know. Does
someone fuck a critter in it, Dylan? Just tell me. Does someone fuck a critter in it?
I can just tell you, they do the hybrid. They do human hybrid critters. So a woman has sex with a critter, and the critters talk in it. They talk like normal. He has there's like a president critter and everything. It's so cheesy. So she had, and they actually show the sex scene too. And there's like the main character that he's the spawn of a human hybrid critter.
So Dylan,
we know what
Dylan
Dylan
just
do.
totally convinced people to either watch it or not to watch it, depending on what you're into. It just seems like it would hurt, like it would hurt to fuck a critter. You would think, right? They're kind of like porcupines. They got spikes on them and shit, man. Those teeth, like, come on.
I don't think you'd want to be.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Hey, that's what she said. But yeah, I don't think you'd want to be eaten out by a critter. I think you'd be done.
No.
You'd be done.
It's like teeth.
Once you go critter, you never go. Once you go critter, you never go again.
Once you go critter, you leave Twitter?
Once you go critter, I don't even know, man.
That's gross, man.
Once you do critter, Brooks will finally get a Twitter.
So funny
What's
though,
a Twitter?
What's a critter? Oh lordy, who?
You'll laugh so hard though, Robbie. The critter's all like, "You're my son. You're my son." Like,
God, it sounds so bad.
Crazy.
Oh, I want no part of it.
I was really actually planning. I was like, this Halloween, I'm going to watch all the Critters movie. I'm going to watch that damn show. And now I'm like, never mind. I'll just rewatch Rambo.
Oh,
Rambo doesn't fuck a critter.
no, not at all.
What the fuck, mate? What the fuck? That's what you get for fucking with the fucking critter. I am the critter commander.
Taking over Burma.
Oh God.
Jay Strick, talk a little bit about the ice cream men and how did you like them? Were they obnoxious to you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I thought it was funny, like how they show up in the beginning, that scene you're talking about with the ice cream truck and everyone's parked, and Mike's in there like with his girl, like she's like, "Ew, who are those guys?" She's like, "Oh, those are my best friends." Like, didn't even say hey to them or anything. Yeah, I'm like, if the homies come around, I'm gonna say what's up.
That's the moment when you're like, I hate those assholes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's sitting there in a car on a float, drinking apparently what looks to be cheap ass champagne because it's not carbonated. I suspect it's water, but I don't know. God, Mike is so ridiculously stupid, and I hope that Mike hears this, Mike the voice Matthews, and thinks we're talking about him. Mike is ridiculously dumb. The other cop, who's that? That's Dave Hansen.
Yeah, he was in another movie I can remember.
What's he in? Because that dude is a striking, handsome young man. So, what else was he's got to have a bright future.
I don't remember the movie, but like the premise of the movie was like there was this dork, and he wished that he was handsome, and that guy turned into the handsome guy. And like everybody loved him, and he was like king of the beach. And I can't remember the movie. I
Baywatch. He was in Baywatch.
He was probably in Baywatch too. Yeah,
he was in Baywatch 24.
He's in a lot of TV. He's mostly in TV.
He's a handsome dude, though.
His movies are I don't even know any of these other movies. Well, he's in The Town as a SWAT commander. Yeah, that's his biggest movie.
Okay.
Yeah, but he is in a bunch of TV, like any TV show you can think of.
Yeah.
Probably in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. Like Baywatch, CSI Miami, 24. He's in 24. That's probably where we recognize him from.
Okay.
I'd say besides the asshole cop Mooney, I don't think a lot of these guys had a career after this.
Yeah. It's pretty much it.
Brooks, did you like the ice cream guys?
I hated them. I was like, the first scene with them, I'm like, okay, because that's kind of the tone of this movie is kind of set like a lot of these characters are kind of just like that. But the more like they'd show up, I was like, oh. And then they show up again, I'm like, oh. And then they died, and I'm like, yay! And then they survived, and I'm like, oh.
I know.
I know.
I swear to God,
Every time.
if they do another Killer Klowns, and let's just say they were like, Robbie, we want some ideas. I'd be like, here's my first idea. Get the original actors that played the Torini brothers, whatever the hell they're called, right?
Yeah.
Like, get those guys, and in the first 5 minutes, kill the fuck out of them. Like, kill the fuck out of them in the most, like,
just kill them.
yes.
What's funny is we're all equally hating on them, but they show up for that one scene, and they basically don't show up until the third act in the movie, right?
But then they keep showing up.
And they keep showing up, and they're terrible every time.
But the little bit they are in there is like teeth-grindingly bad.
It's cringy.
I really feel like at the time they were like, this is going to be like our Spicoli and his gang. People are going to love these guys.
Mike's like, my girl's about to die. Well, are there girls there? It's like, sure.
Yeah.
And
okay,
also,
we're in.
They got big boobs.
That's Debbie Stone, played by Suzanne Snyder. And
What
was she in?
What's she in?
Return of the Living Dead 2 and
Really?
Weird Science.
Okay.
The first
So
Weird
she
Science?
actually, I was
Who was she in
mistaken
Weird
too,
Science?
but she did Return of the Living Dead before Killer Klowns, like right before it says.
You know, Return of the Living Dead, another great horror comedy of the 80s. You know?
Oh yeah,
Especially the first one.
I love the first one.
I didn't remember her in
I
it.
love the third one though too.
I do
It's
too.
not funny.
I do
It's
too,
not
with
funny.
the chick, and she puts all the safety pins and shit in her and all that. Yeah.
It makes you kind of question yourself. You're like, she's kind of hot.
Dude, you got to think.
Yeah.
I was like, that movie came out, super early 90s,
It
right?
was really a 90s.
So I was
Yeah.
like 10 years old. I was probably, I remember watching that movie and being like, I think she's kind of cute. And then being just, yeah, you're right. It's very disturbing.
It is.
She's definitely hot
She's
before
like sticking holes in her, and you're like, yeah. You're right. I agree.
It's definitely not near as good as the first one, though, right?
Yeah.
First,
The
Definitely.
first is the best. The third is second, and then second.
we
is
got to do
third.
those too.
There's one thing that we haven't talked about yet,
Definitely.
and that's that Titus is in this film. Christopher Titus.
Christopher Titus is in this film.
He's Bob. Bob McCreed.
Oh, the one with the glasses. Was he the guy
Yes.
with the glasses?
Yes.
Okay.
The guy that dies, the guy that has all the beer, all the
Yeah.
like, and I love the very generic white can that just says beer down the side.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
It's
Christopher
a-
Titus. I don't know if anybody
didn't know
noticed
that.
that, but that's Christopher
I
Titus.
didn't.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
He looks
Um,
familiar, but I didn't know that was him.
Yeah. Oh, and that's actually Charles Kyoto as Jojo the Clownzilla at the end there. So now let's get to the bit that we all want to talk about, and it's basically the moment in the stream. And feel free to join us out there. We're having a lot of fun with this. Jesus, Scarpad.
You saw that?
Yeah, I think there was like perfect timing there.
It was.
What the hell was I saying? Oh, let's go ahead and talk about how amazing John Vernon is as Deputy Curtis Mooney. Jelani, why don't you start? He's also in The Outlaw of Josie Wells, by the way.
Really? Oh, I gotta watch that again too.
He's Fletcher, and he's
Man,
he's the mayor in Dirty Harry. Holy shit!
Oh yeah, he is. He is the mayor.
Yep.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff. He has a lot of movies. But in this one, oh god, like I hated him, but I loved him. Like he was just this guy who's just this asshole cop, and he's doing he's busting people because they're public intoxication, and he's just a jerk. And I'm like, oh man, and he's overacting. Like he's overacting all of it. They were just like,
Bro, you cannot say he's overacting in this film.
but he is killing it. He is killing it. I
He's
was like,
chewing
wow.
scenery, dude. He's like
He
he's
is.
He probably showed up on set and was like, "What the fuck is this shit, mate? Nobody fucking gives a fuck. Nobody likes what they're doing. Nobody. It's ridiculous. It's shitty. It's crazy. It's what you get for trespassing in a fucking Killer Klowns from outer space."
They're throwing popcorn everywhere like this fucking. It makes popcorn. I couldn't even complete the sentence.
Nobody stores cotton candy like that, mate.
So I bet he was like, "Let me show these young bucks how it is." And dude, he committed to that role 100%, Jelani, didn't he?
He really did. And I mean, I tip my hat to him because like he earned that paycheck. Every cent of that bad boy. His agent was like, "I got a film for you." He's like, "I'll do it." And he went out there, man. The second I really thought he would be like the principal in Back to the Future, where he was in like Masters of the Universe when he had this shotgun and he was gonna go out there and like just start shooting stuff. I really thought he was gonna survive this, and I was like, he's gonna survive. This asshole guy's gonna live. And like he got turned into that puppet, which was still awesome.
It is the creepiest bit in the movie, man.
The creepiest bit for sure
ever.
Yeah.
And it needs to be there. But I liked it. But I really wanted to see him with a shotgun, just like blowing noses off of those clowns, and just him surviving, and just him being a jerk, or he dies in the ship. I just assumed that would happen.
He dies off camera. You see him as a puppet, which is creepy, and it's great, and he's great in the movie. However, we get 5 fucking Scream movies with Dewey. Why can we not get more movies with Mooney? You know what I'm saying?
Mooney.
Of course, I don't think that guy's with us anymore either. But
no, John Verner's passed away. I'm sure.
I'm sure. But his biggest role was Animal House, and you know him in that as the Dean, and absolutely fantastic. What do you agree, Strickland? Is Mooney the best character and performance in this film outside of a clown?
Sure. I mean, this movie's not getting awards for acting, so we'll give it to him, I guess.
How dare you?
Crikey! What the fuck, mate?
What's funny is we've been doing this British guy bit from Rambo for like the past 2 weeks, and we talked about in that movie how he was like on an 11. This dude was on an 11 too. Like he doesn't stop the whole movie. He's just like playing this part, and he does it well. I mean, it's pretty funny.
When he arrests those guys, and he's just like, he's like, fucking.
You're going to the slammer.
Yeah, right.
It's over. Your lives are over.
Yeah.
They just picked him up for just walking somewhere or something like that.
He was walking with a bottle of wine.
Walking in the park, drinking a beer.
Yeah. He's a dickbag. God, what's the line though? Because he drops the F-bomb in the film, and he
I forgot now.
He's on the phone and with someone, and he's like, he just says something, and he's like, "So fuck you," and he just like, it's just a great delivery, man. It really is. It's one of the best fuck yous in a movie ever. 100% Scarpad, 100%. Such a great. I mean, when they cast Vernon, they were like, "Yeah, we got legitimacy in this movie now." What do you think about the character, Brooks, and the acting?
I think he was probably the least irritating character for me. Like, he was an asshole, but he was sincere, while everybody else was kind of, ridiculous and like over the top with their acting. Like, he seemed like the most realistic character, oddly enough. It was being this grumpy asshole cop. I guess the other cop would kind of take second place.
He was just handsome though.
Yeah, he was very uninteresting and kind of bland.
Yeah.
And so he was the most
just like Mike.
Definitely the most interesting and least irritating character for me.
And
this is a movie for a movie that we love. It is filled with irritating characters.
just full of. How do you have so many unlikable people in a movie, and still but the clowns are the stars of the show. They're the real stars, and they pull it off. So
they really are.
Did we get Dylan's thoughts on Vernon yet? Dylan,
so.
Speaking of unlikable people, you will never ever be listed as an unlikable person in my book.
Oh,
what do you think about
Thank you,
Deputy Mooney?
Yeah, man. It's kind of funny because I was saying too, like my eyes kind of opened up on my last viewing of it, and I like have always kind of thought, I'm like, man, he is such a jackass. Like always, like I'd always just kind of laugh at it, be like, yo, he just won't give up. Like, man, these guys won't get me. He's like, it's going to take a lot more to get me to throw in my badge. He's like, they're trying to make me go crazy. Like, I went through Korea. I can get through this, you know?
That's the moment where he says, fuck you or something. He's like, it's going to take a lot more than this to get me to give up my badge.
Yeah.
So fuck you.
But yeah, this viewing, it really opened it up, like I said earlier. And I was like, man, he might be, like, he's doing the best acting performance, though. Like, you know, I would say he was like, I would say him and the girl were probably the two best actors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they had careers.
Yeah.
LOL.
Exactly. But
I
yeah,
mean,
I love him.
Yeah. It's good, man. The characters for me were annoying, and I would probably rate her, the girl, right under Mooney as far as the human characters. And maybe the little girl that was going to die.
I would rate her below John Allen Nelson just because, guys, I'm not trying to stay on this, but that dude is handsome. And I love the random, let's throw in some drama. What if he's her ex?
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
I love that
like
moment,
baby and stuff.
I love that moment too, where he's like, where didn't he say something like, I guess she decided that she likes jokes better than looks or something like that?
She likes laughs more than stability.
Laughs more than stability, yeah.
Dude, that's
because I was
I've heard that.
right there.
I've heard that.
I'm like, bro, look at yourself, man.
All right, we can
be annoying though.
2 more segments before we get to the ratings. Production design. Production design is amazing. And one more thing on Mooney. He had a phrase that he coined in there that I'm going to start using. He goes, I'll be greased and fried. That's great. That's great. That's great. And I also love it when he goes, well, whoop-dee frickin' do, or whatever. Anyway. Production design. Everything in this movie is amazing as far as production design. It looks like you're going through one of those crazy-ass circus-themed haunted houses, you know? The spaceship, it's kooky, it's weird, but the design, it fits. It never doesn't feel like it's a movie that it should be. You know what I'm saying? I love it so much when they finally get into the ship and they're going through and all the funhouse stuff's going on. The cotton candy balls, they kind of look like pink rabbit's feet a little bit, you know? I absolutely love the design of this film. I think that really elevates it because it could just be a dumb movie that dumb people like. But things like the production design elevate it up a little bit higher that do really resonate with people that like cult movies. Because let's remember, even Evil Dead is a cult classic. You know what I'm saying? That movie's got style. This movie has got style out of the yazoo. And I absolutely love it. Speaking of yazoos, what do you think, Jelani, about the production design?
It looks great. It made you feel like you were in a small town. The big tent. Getting you to before you even get inside of the ship, it looks ominous. First of all, I don't know why people, like I said, are attracted to that tent. Why are you going there? Oh, it's big and bright, but you're chasing an asteroid. But that's there. Okay, it's time to go. We need to keep looking for this asteroid because that ain't it. So there are so many just little things in this movie. Like I said, the practical effects are amazing. Like, when you see every facial expression on the clown's face, and even their mannerisms, the way they made everything, it looks gorgeous. For a cult B movie like it is, it's done well. It looks very good, and I miss practical effects because of the atmosphere.
With a budget of $1.8 million, too. That's so cheap.
That is nuts.
Even in '88,
do that anymore.
Even in the late '80s, that's very cheap.
That's insane.
Yeah,
but it looks great. I cannot stress it enough. I mean, like I said, for a B movie, it looks clean. As far as the all of the sets look amazing. That monster with real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
The pole. That pole when the monster was at the bottom of it. Yeah, that thing. Yeah, that kind of freaked me out too because I wasn't honestly expecting it. I just thought they were just going to slide that hole. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, it looked great.
You could see the hole that they were coming out of too.
Yeah, you could. And even the popcorn moving was really effective and done well.
Yeah.
The popcorn moving on. Now I'm still very unclear on the popcorn. Like it's like that's their seed. And because like I watched this one video and they were saying that the shadow puppet dude, because if you notice, he grabs them and he puts them in the bag of popcorn. So they turn some people to cotton candy and they wind up like drinking them. And then other people, they turn to popcorn and put in a bag or shoot popcorn on them. And then they wind up like, why is that popcorn still stuck on her like hours later, by the way?
I think it's like a tracking device or something.
Yeah.
Right.
But those are the things that are like turning into those monsters they're saying.
Yeah.
Like that.
They ruined popcorn and cotton candy in one movie.
I love that bit too when they're running away and douchebag Mike says, or like she says, why are they shooting popcorn? He goes, 'cause they're clowns. And I'm like, yeah, like that makes sense.
Duh.
Also, when they're we forgot to even mention that they can defeat them by blowing up their nose.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like an M. Night Shyamalan type device used at the end there.
Water.
Their weakness is the most obvious thing that you can like hit. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. You
gotta kill them though.
See, Bloodsport had the same budget, and I'll tell you this: I love Bloodsport probably better than this movie. But both of those movies are excellent examples of using your budget like to the T. No wasted dollars.
Van Damme cheap. That's all it was.
It was cheap to get Van Damme in Bloodsport days.
Yep.
It wasn't cheap to get him in Time Cop days. And that led to a lot of bad movies because that was the majority of the production. Speaking of lots of bad production, Jay Strick.
Got it.
I was going to go with Dylan, but I didn't want to like throw that segue to him because I think his production value is pretty high.
You look like you're in a Kinko's.
What do you think about the production design, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I like it. It's I think for this movie, like I said, for me it was really funny. I feel like they could have gone some different routes if they wanted to make it more creepier. And I think a lot of that, the creepiness helps with like the set in the ship. It's pretty creepy. It's kind of like a Willy Wonka creepy vibe to me with all the cotton candy setup.
Yeah.
So
there's that great scene too when they come out in that big hallway. It's kind of almost like reminiscent of Luke and Leia in the Death Star. Yeah. And like that's really cool. Like the matte painting and everything. It looks really nice.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Speaking of looking really nice, Dylan, what do you think about the production design and the look of the film?
Yeah, my hair would part right. I'd look even better. But I love it, man. It's so that's what makes this movie. That's what makes the movie for me.
Oh, I got you said this is as good as the Matrix movie. That's what I thought you said at first.
No,
it is.
I mean, I wouldn't say that out loud, but I might think it. But man, yeah, set design like makes this movie.
Yeah.
It's so atmospheric. I mean, it's just the 80s, you know? Pure 80s right there. I love it, man.
It captures the fun tone of the film, and it's atmospheric when it needs to be, because there is something creepy inherently about clowns and circuses.
Yeah, I mean, right when you walk into the, the tent or whatever, you're like, man, they really went all out for this set design. And I love how they're like, I've never seen anything like this before in my life, and I don't think you have since.
No, it's a new wave circus from Europe, man. It's cool.
Yeah,
Mike.
It's Circus Fantastique.
Yeah, so it's not Cirque du Soleil.
But yeah, it's one of my absolute favorite things about this movie, and it's what makes it so unique. From '88 till now, man. I think it's a big part of why it's a cult classic, because they had that style.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Speaking of style, Brooks, what about you? What do you think about it?
I think this movie looked really good, especially like considering the time it came out, and like the clowns look really good. Like the effects are pretty nice, and it has to kind of make up for some weak spots, as far as in characters and stuff like that. So I think that it helps to make it, more fun, that it looks so good,
Oh yeah.
Like, I think if it had looked cheap, it probably would have just felt like a shitty movie.
Yeah, it's crazy that it doesn't look cheap.
It doesn't look cheap. Not at all. I mean, the cars, the things that are sucking up the cotton candy cocoons when they take over the whole town, they look great.
The movie's very well budgeted. Yeah. I'll tell you that. Like, whoever was in charge of making sure that they had enough money to do whatever they needed to do, hell yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it was a damn Kyoto brother or whatever the hell, right? One of my favorite things about this movie is John Massari's score and the theme song by the Dickies. Oh my God. So many 80s horror films have that theme song. Fright Night pops in my head. Return of the Living Dead pops in my head.
Yeah.
Killer Klowns is right up there. Killer Klowns is great. That Dickies was a punk band. They got them to do it. They did a great job integrating that circus type feel to it. The music itself is great. It's so synthy. It's so 80s. It's so 80s sci-fi horror. This is it's fantastic. I heard somebody describe this. This is like what it would have been like if John Waters did Alien. Then you get Killer Klowns.
Yep. I agree that.
The music, the tone, everything. It works so well with it. The music's one of my favorite bits, and I have listened to that theme song over and over and over again. And the entire score is so freaking good. Yeah, Dylan, elaborate on that. Tell me why it's so good.
Me?
Yeah, man.
Yes,
you said me, right?
Yep.
I didn't hear you. Man, yeah, I'm so glad you talked about it, bro, because that's one of my favorites. Like, I have it on my phone, too. It's actually one, obviously, besides Halloween being, just an amazing score, it was probably one of the first, soundtrack scores that I actually listened to for horror movies. Because, when you're growing up, you kind of don't pay attention to the music as much. Yeah. You're just like, wow, it kind of just goes with the movie. You don't really think about it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, Killer Klowns was one that it made me, I was like, man, this is really good music,
Yeah.
So
I'm a big fan of film scores, cinematic scores, and especially horror.
Too.
Especially horror.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not a vinyl guy, but I know that they release a lot of these on vinyl. I follow some YouTubers that actually will play their vinyls of like Day of the Dead or Phantasm or Fog or things like that. And
I'd like to get into that. It's just too much already in my collection.
I don't know if they've done one, but a Killer Klowns limited edition vinyl with like crazy circus colors would be so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Like
that'd be creepy.
Oh, I think that'd be great. The music's so good in this film from the very beginning of it. And when the movie starts, you're almost like fooled. You're like, so the movie's called Killer Klowns in Outer Space, from outer space. So it's obviously going to be cheesy. It's kind of like a send up to the 50s ridiculous sci-fi movies, but they're really going to have fun with it, right? And make it a very colorful, flamboyant, and boisterous film. And then the music starts, and you're like, ooh, it's going to take itself a little seriously. But then the Dickies come in, and you're like, nah, never mind. Speaking of the Dickies, what about you, Jelani? What do you think about the music in this film?
It's so catchy. It is incredibly catchy. And then, man, it hits you from the beginning. It's the only thing I can remember when I was a kid. Every time I heard that music, I loved it, but I was afraid at the same time. So it to me, it brings up that horror in me. And it is fun. It is a fun sounding, as far as the Dickies sound. And the score itself is great. The music works well for every scene. Like, it's pretty clean. And I rhyme, but it makes a lot of sense that this stuff would, I don't know. It's a great score, and it's a great theme song. And it just catches with you. I just can say it again. It's catchy.
Speaking of catchy, what about you, Brooks? What do you think about the music in this film?
Well, having just seen it the one time, like, it didn't really stick much with me, like the overall score, but I did remember the opening theme was pretty catchy. But if I watched it a few more times, I'd probably think more of it because, soundtracks and stuff usually I have to watch the movie a few times for me to start absorbing that kind of thing.
See, nowadays, that's one of the first things I mean, you guys know this.
Yeah, me too.
You know,
Yeah.
It's one of the first things I'll start noticing. Like, by the way, like one of the best cinematic scores of all time that nobody ever even thinks about is U-571. The
submarine movie.
The submarine war movie with Matthew McConaughey and John Bon Jovi. But no, the music in that, like, look it up on Google, on YouTube or something. Just listen to some pieces of music from it. It's beautiful.
Okay.
It's absolutely
Mike
amazing.
coming in.
U-571.
Yay, we got Mike here.
Hey, Mike.
$60 used. Well, I don't have.
Wow.
I'm not a vinyl guy, and I'm glad. I cannot add
probably
vinyl.
got some amazing vinyl artwork, though.
I've been hit by this Master of the Universe bug. I cannot get into vinyl. I cannot.
Right.
Mike also wants to know when the Van Damme movie night's going to be. Well, we had.
Did we already do that?
We
did a Van Damme poll.
We did Bloodsport.
And we did Bloodsport. But this year for Action Fest, which is on hold this year because one of the reasons why we're doing the Dylan approved movie poll tonight is because this is Dylan's like way of being officially inducted into the excitable PCP crew. So we're very happy to have him. So we're doing this for him. So Dylan, you've already been a piece of it, but now you're 100% a piece of it because you have been in charge of the show.
Like official. Yes, I'm in charge. I'm just kidding.
No, I wouldn't say that. But
I know.
We'll officially be hanging out in front of the quicker stop. Officially.
Jay Strick, you're a musician. Well, I'm probably using that term too loosely. You're a lyricist, so you know a little bit about music. What do you think about the music in this? Weird stretch, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably more in the lines of what Brooks said. Like, I just saw this, like, really probably the first time I've really seen it because I don't really remember as a kid. But honestly, I wasn't really feeling it. Like, besides the denta, like, I don't really remember anything else. So.
You're a fucking asshole, dude. You need to watch that shit again.
When they like are going door to door, that's like my favorite.
Now just put it on YouTube one night as you're falling asleep.
That'd probably be creepy.
What I like about the music is that it does fit that element of 80s synth, right? And it's a horror movie, but it really resonates with a sci-fi quality to it. And it makes it almost similar to Goldsmith's score to Alien, but obviously ramped up in a more 80s synth type way, so, and I think it's absolutely amazing. All right, let's get to the ratings. And you out there, let us know, out of 5 possible you digs, what do you rate this film? So, Jelani, out of 5 possible you digs, what do you give it?
I'll give this one a 3. I scared me as a kid. I didn't finish it. I finally finished it like last night. So this will be like my 1.5 time of watching it. I might need to watch it again just for Mooney's reactions. I love the score. The Dickie soundtrack is their song is amazing. They look great, and Mooney. So I give it a 3, and I'll watch it again. Yeah, Mooney
3 is a solid rating. By the way, out of 5, 3 is pretty solid.
Yeah,
it's a little lukewarm, but it means you weren't offended.
No, I didn't hate it.
You'll watch it again.
I'll watch it again. It's always based for me on rewatchability, and I'll watch it again.
Jay Strick, what about you? Out of 5 possible you digs, what do you give Killer Klowns from Outer Space?
I think I gave Critters a 3, and I like this movie more than Critters, so I'm going to give it a 3.5. I thought it was like a lot of fun, and I thought there were some parts that was extremely funny, and it had me rolling because it was just like, where did they come up with that? Those dudes were probably high as hell when they like made that scene. And man, I think watching it this time around, it really did make me want to see like a sequel. So I'll give it a 3.5. I want to see like do something else with it too.
Very respectable. Very respectable. Speaking of respectable, what about you, Brooks?
Well, I would have given it a 3, but since those douchebags that lived through the end, I'd just give it a 2.5.
Wow.
Like, if they'd have just left those dudes dead, they'd have gotten that 0.5, an extra 0.5, but they had to bring it back, so...
I've never seen Brooks go below a 3.
I know, me neither. I'm sure it's happened before, but
That's crazy.
And I love how it's just because of the what's
The
their
brothers.
name?
Toblerone brothers.
The Terenzi brothers.
The Teach brothers.
You're awful.
Golly, that's
Those
funny.
guys never acted again.
I forgot. Oh my god. Let me get the calculator out. We're tallying this up. I forgot. Jelani, you said 3.
I did a 3.
Yeah,
Strickland said 3.5.
yeah.
Brooks said 2.5.
3.5.
What about you, Dylan?
I'd say Jay Strick's got a good market, like 3.5 if I was like being a critic. But for nostalgic, I'll go 4.
Okay.
Just because I've loved it since I was like a kid, and it was probably one of the first 5 horror movies I ever saw. You know, so it's got nostalgic. So, but yeah, 3, 5, 4. But I'm gonna go with 4.
All right.
Respectable.
I'm going 4. I think it's a really solid movie. I had so much fun watching it. It's perfectly paced. It doesn't feel long. It doesn't feel too short. It's a brisk, like, it's just under an hour and a half. It's brisk. I hate, like, if they made this shit today, it would be like fucking 2 hours and it would piss me off. I hate the Ice Cream Man dudes too, man. I hate the Terenzi brothers just as much as you. Brooks, I'm not going to shit on the movie because of it.
I would have gave it a 5, but those damn brothers.
Easy readers like Brooks went, oh.
That's surprising. I'm the low score.
Yeah,
I know.
I know that we're amazed. We're amazed. I'm giving it a 4 because it's solid. It's rewatchable. It does exactly what it set out to do. It's got a great look to it, a great sleek sense of design. It's quirky. It's fun. It's colorful. The acting is terrible, but they knew that was what they were getting into. That's why they we got to get John Vernon. We got to get this guy.
Ham it up.
And they were, I mean, how many movies you see this with? You know, like cheap ass movie. And they're like, but we got Bill Paxton. We're good. You know, so like it's fine. And so I love this movie. I think it's great. I don't know why I don't know what drug I was on the last time I had seen it, but I was like, man, it's okay. It's okay. No, this movie's fucking great. This movie was awesome. I loved it. It's a solid 4 for me. Solid 4 for me. Herminio gives it a 3.5. He agrees with Strickland there. And Scarpad agrees with me and Dylan. It's 4.
That's my boy right there.
And Brooks, movie thespian. Brooks is always like, no, I don't really. Brooks never is hard on a movie for any reason.
No.
But that just shows you how much Brooks hates those damn characters.
Damn brothers.
The Terenzi brothers.
Oh, I started to become a little more cultured in my movie watching these days.
4.0 from me. Jelani gave it a 3.0.
3.
Jay Strick 3.5. Brooks a 2.5. Dylan a 4. That gives it a PCP average of 3.4, which I think is a fair average.
Sure.
Overall for this film, 3.4.
It's got a good rewatchability. Like you said it perfect, Robbie. Like it's one I could just watch over and over. I love it, man. It's just so cheesy, man. You can't have nothing but fun watching it.
Brooks, I would encourage you to watch it again, to pay attention to the music, and every time the Terenzi brothers show up, just skip ahead.
Just black out.
I'm right there with you though. If they would have had if they would have had a death like that douchebag sergeant at the end of Day of the Dead, you know how he just gets ripped open.
Ripped apart.
If they would have had a death like that, it would have been like
it too. That was the sad part. They had it. The thing blew up. All they had to do was be like, "Oh, they're dead.
They're dead."
Nope. Oh,
yeah, but I want to see their
freezer.
throats get opened up and shit fall out of it. That's what I want to see.
When I saw them get out of that ice cream box or whatever it was, I'm like, God damn! Every time it pisses me off. I'm like, oh, shit, why didn't? Almost every time I watch it, I think it might change.
We just went into the ice cream freezer, man. I'm like, really?
Yeah, I'm sure
what is this?
Yeah.
Is this Indiana Jones 4 all of a sudden?
Yeah. That was pretty blown up.
Goddamn refrigerator will save you from a nuke. Jesus. So that's what we thought about the movie. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought about that movie. That concludes our retrospective look and discussion on Killer Klowns from Outer Space. On behalf of everybody here, I'm Rockin Robbie Billups. This is Jelani.
All right.
This is Strickland.
What up?
This is Brooks.
Bye-bye.
And this is Dylan.
What up?
Thanks for rocking with us. Y'all keep on killing clowns. What?